Alrighty, we're out there, Jack.
We going? Wow, wow, wow.
Get this shared out. Get some people in here.
Absolutely. Nick, where did you take in this Brown Sunday at?
Downstairs, man. At
Oh,
home.
on the
At home.
projector?
On the projector. Let's see. Did I send this out right?
Yeah, I got it on the Big Play Twitter.
All right. I see it now. Alrighty, shared out. We've gonna get some comments rolling in on the YouTube machine so I can put those up on the
Absolutely.
screen. Look at us running this with no big play
Yeah,
Dave, no
no Dave
overlays,
here,
kind of
right?
jumping right into it, but that's all right. We're staying consistent even when the Browns aren't, I guess.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
All
Nick,
right,
let
so
me ask you as we
go
get
for
going
it.
here early on. So Shedeur, 3 picks, like obviously a lot of the line out. What are your biggest takeaways from Shedeur? Like maybe not like a letter grade today, but what'd you see? Like, is it too much to push you off of something next year? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, it was not good. We could start there. You know, three interceptions for Shedeur Sanders. That's not what the Browns are after, obviously. And like I think these are gonna be. This is the Shedeur Sanders experience. I think at this point where you're gonna see good performances against bad teams. He beat up on the Raiders. He was able to beat up on another bad team last week. When they were able to, have a really nice showing offensively against the Titans, weren't able to win that game. And then you crash back to earth against the Niners. You crash back to earth today against the Chicago Bears. Like, I don't know if Patrick Mahomes would have looked good with that offensive line today, with that run game today, with Jerry Judy giving away touchdown receptions today. Like, I just think Shedeur Sanders over these next 3 games has been dealt a really difficult hand. And when you're trying to look towards next year, like it's going to be really hard to evaluate what this guy can do, just because like the sample size is what it is now, and this is a lost season. Like you're starting KT Leviston at right tackle, that's not an NFL player. You're starting Malachi Corley, Gage Larvidan. These guys in your receiving room are not NFL players either, so it's going to be hard on Shedeur these last 3 games, and I find myself feeling bad for the dude. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, so Nick, when you're at this point now, you see like, I mean, this is arguably Shadeur's worst game, obviously, since he's taken over the starting role for the Browns. What can he do, if anything, do you think, over the final 3 weeks to not blur the lines between whether you're taking a quarterback in the first round next year or you keep Shedeur going into next year?
Yeah, I think like even as bad as today was, and you're right, like today probably was his worst start with the Browns, but like as bad as it was, you still see those sparks where he's able to escape the pocket and make a big throw downfield. The 2 big throws to Isaiah Bond. So you're seeing these sparks and you're seeing these flashes, and that's really good for Shedeur. So I think over the next 3 games, you just got to find some semblance of consistency. I don't know if that's going to happen though. When again, like KT Leviston, it just not a solution at right tackle. Cam Robinson, who they went out and traded for, not a solution at left tackle. So you're dealing with these guys that probably just don't really belong on an NFL field. And I think it's going to be really hard for him to show consistency. I think it's probably going to be a lot more of the flashes that we've seen. The big plays down the field are really fun. Some of the escapability that he can do. I know it makes people want to rip their hair out when he's holding onto that football for so long, but he's looking down the field. He's trying to make things happen. So I think that's more of what we'll continue to see with Shedeur. I think what he has to do over the next 3 is, now because this one was so embarrassing and he threw 3 interceptions to no touchdowns, like I think you're going to have to play spoiler in at least 1, maybe 2
Yeah,
of these.
at least one.
Because now you look at the draft order, like you're going to be right up there in Fernando Mendoza territory. You could be right up there in Dante Moore territory, and you're going to have a new head coach. So ultimately, I think the Browns are in a position right now because the Deshaun Watson trade set them back so far. you're going to have to give your new coach the entire repertoire of draft picks, the entire arsenal. You're going to have to give your new head coach and say, hey, bro, whatever you want, whatever you want. If you want Fernando Mendoza, he's yours. If you want to keep going with Shedeur Sanders, he's yours. If you want Carnell Tate, if you want Isaiah World, whatever you want to do, like I need to get a head coach in here that could actually run this thing. I think that's where we're at now. And if that means moving on from Shedeur Sanders, as fun as this entire thing has been, I need to get my new head coach set up with the coordinators that he wants, set up with the quarterback that he wants, and really build this thing the right way for once.
So, Nick, one of the biggest things from today's game, you talked about those 3 picks. It's got to go back to Jerry Judy bobbling a ball. It seemed like he had it caught, basically, boom, right into the cornerback's hands. What do you make of, I mean, not necessarily Jerry Judy's future in Cleveland. The guy's got, what, $41 million guaranteed. He's gonna be here, it seems like, but not to our dismay, I guess. But, like, what do you take away from Jerry Judy? Is there a future here? Like, can you trust him as a 1? Does he go back into a slot guy role if you go and get Carnell Tate? Like, what moves on with him?
I mean, he's going to be here. So again, like when I look towards next year, I got to get a coach that could solve a lot of this. And that's a big undertaking, but like Jerry Judy didn't have a target in this game until he gave that touchdown pass away to a Bears defensive back. It was Jalen Johnson that came down with the interception. Like that was his first target of the game. And I get, and Jack, you and I have consistently talked about it. You know, Rob has talked about it with us, Ryan, everybody. Jerry Judy's not a wide receiver 1, but yeah, he's still the best option that you have in this receiving room right now. So the fact that his first target didn't come until late third quarter, of course he's going to, cause an interception because that's what Jerry Judy does. He's a loser. He's a losing player. He does not create winning plays. He creates losing plays. So when you don't get him involved in anything until the third quarter, of course that was going to be the outcome. So again, unfortunately, I'm going to have to look at my new head coach, Jack, and it's going to be another problem that's certainly going to need solved is what you do with this guy, because he hasn't been very good, but unfortunately he's not going anywhere. So I think you'd probably need to add a wide receiver in the first round. Maybe you could try to trade for one. I know that's like something that Andrew Berry just consistently tries to do. And you just try to push him down that depth chart until you could get out of that contract. Like that's the only rational thing that pops into my brain with how you deal with this situation. It's screwed up.
And how much funnier does it make it when he scored the touchdown last week, does the block the noise out celebration? Like it just for one big play. I don't know about them. But Nick, one thing I think people will understand with you here, you mentioned a couple of times so far through the post-game show, is a new head coach coming to town. Kevin, whatever he had left in the tank out today, I mean, you can't get a play in off a kickoff, how many minutes do you have off that, Nick? A couple?
Yeah.
A couple.
I don't have the exact minute mark pulled up, but it was at least a couple.
That hard. You can pause the game, get one in. Kevin's done, right?
One more time.
Do you have? Kevin's done, right? Has to be.
Like tomorrow morning.
I wasn't going there, but if you want to entertain that route, I can talk about it.
I mean, it was a 31-3 loss. You just lost to a 1-win football team. Like I think if it would have happened mid-season with Kevin Stefanski, it would have been last week against the Tennessee Titans. Like for whatever reason, they have this organizational philosophy, and it hasn't helped anything that they don't fire coaches mid-season. For right or wrong, that's like a stance and a hill that they're willing to die on. That's why Bubba Ventrone is still the special teams coordinator, opening up the game with a 50-some yard kick return. Like they don't fire coaches mid-season. That's one of their philosophies as an organization now, I guess. But I kind of found myself asking today, like, why? Why wouldn't you fire him mid-season? Like, and try to see if you could get these guys to show any sort of fight for Jim Schwartz. Or if you don't want to do that, say you accidentally don't want to win 3 games and then you have to feel strong-armed into hiring Jim Schwartz. What about Tommy Rees? Tommy Rees is a guy that's going to get, all these head coaching looks. He was a front runner for UCLA. They went with somebody else. He got interviewed for the Penn State job. He was the runner-up last year to Bill Belichick at UNC. Had they not gone Belichick, it would have been Tommy Rees at North Carolina, and now he's going to be with Michigan. So somebody's eventually going to do the Tommy Rees head coach thing. The Browns say they want him around the organization in 2026. Why not, for the last 3 games, see what Tommy Rees can do? See if the guys would get up and fight for Tommy Rees. See if he could get anything going with this offense more than he's been able to in his couple of games as the offensive play caller, and see if there's anything there. Like, I don't get why they feel so beholden to Kevin Stefanski. I get that he's been your coach through 6 years and he's been through you with thick and thin, but like, clearly the message is getting lost, and clearly the team isn't responding the way that they need to. I don't get why at this point, when things are so dead, you're 3-11, you got embarrassed by a 1-win football team just to put up a 31-3 stinker against the Chicago Bears. I don't know. I personally see what Tommy Rees could do over the last 3 games as an interim head coach. I don't think it happens, though.
I think it's absolutely, when I think of coaches and like coach prototype archetypes, like whatever you want to call it, like you're building your coach back, and like who are we going to be the next Browns head coach? Like coach, like a motivator. You can be a guy who like goes out, has these incredible schemes. What Kevin's,
I think so Jack is kind of breaking up there a little bit. I think the thing with Kevin, and when you're looking for Kevin replacements, I think you have to cast a wide net. And I know that's maybe the last thing that Browns fans want to hear, because that's what we've done in really every single head coaching search. And it kind of leads us always back to the same exact place. But I think you need to cast a little bit of a wide net here. Like, I'm not opposed to the college ranks. I'm not opposed to coordinators. I'm not opposed to looking at either of the 2 coordinators that you currently employ with Jim Schwartz or Tommy Rees. Like, I really think the Browns are not in a position where they can be ignoring any options or any opinions. And that's another thing that you gain from like head coaching interviews, is even if it's a guy that ultimately doesn't land the job, the Browns should be in a position right now to listen to any and all ideas, because right now they've had Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry as the only 2 voices, with Paul DePodesta, of course. The only 3 voices in that building that just continue to spin their wheels in the same direction. And I don't think that has really gotten them anywhere. Like, they're actually in a much worse place than they were when Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry took over. So I'm in like this marketplace of ideas situation with the Browns. Like, I don't think any idea is the wrong one. If you want to, if a head coach comes in here and they want to keep Shedeur Sanders, okay, I will listen to that. If a head coach comes in here and they want to draft Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore, okay, I will listen to that. Like this right now is so bad. And I've got a head coach right now that is such a dead man walking. This is such a zombie organization right now. Like, I just need some new blood and some new fresh ideas, because whatever they are preaching, both to the team, to the fans, internally in team meetings, things that we don't get to see, like, it's not working. It's all falling on deaf ears. And to me, like, that's the biggest sign that something has to change.
I mean, absolutely. Like, I think if you look at an ownership group that once interviewed Condoleezza Rice for a head coaching job, I don't think you can poo-poo interviewing your hotshot OC who's getting calls from the Jordan brand from anywhere across the country, Nick. But we got a YouTube comment in here, a couple of them. First thought for you. How come nobody ever puts the blame where it belongs, at the play calling turncoat himself? Almost the entire string of ones were on the bench. Wish he could pack that bag. KS is a fraud, awards or not. Nick, do you have any validity remaining to those 2 head coaching of the year award honors into Kevin Stefanski earned?
You can't take him away from him, because he did win them. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and just disparage the Kevin Stefanski era, but like, the time is up. I think you'd be crazy at this point. I would love to find somebody to debate us that like the time.
Yeah, Nick, it's absolutely, dude. Like, whenever you see a team just give up, roll over, be dead in the first quarter, like, Nick, that game was over at what time today? 1:15, 1:20?
I mean, it was over really before the ball even kicked off. Like Jack, I wrote down how this game started. Like, this is how they started the game. And like this just goes to show a team that was not prepared and a team that was not well coached. They opened up the game with a 52-yard kick return.
Bubba.
Then the Bears had to punt, and they downed it at the 1. Kevin Stefanski challenged that and lost it. That's back-to-back weeks that he's lost that type of challenge. Then they had a false start. Then there were too many men on the offense, which you don't see all the time. And then the Browns punted, and it was returned into Cleveland territory. Like, that's how they started the game. So, like, for these people that want to, crucify Shedeur Sanders and say that the 3 interceptions is the reason why you lost, or, get on Andrew Berry with this offensive line and this receivers. Like, before the offensive line had a chance to show how bad they were, before Jerry Judy had a chance to give a touchdown pass to a defensive back, before Shedeur Sanders had an opportunity to get sacked not 4 but 5 times in this game, you started off with too many men in the huddle. You started off with a 52-yard kick return for the second week in the row. Like that's just the current state of this thing.
You can't point it anywhere besides coaching, right? There's nowhere else to go on it. Oh, great comment here. So I was watching the game muted. I was out with Rob actually during the game today. They gave him a wristband with the wrong plays. Can I get any clarity on this? I have no clue what this means.
So we're obviously live right now, and I don't have an opportunity to have the Stefanski press conference on, but the broadcast was very befuddled. And I think initially everybody thought it was like they were having comms issues with the headset. But then Shedeur ran off the field twice, one to get the play from Stefanski, came back, delay of game. So we had to run back to the sideline where he takes his wristband off, gives it to a staffer, gets a new one, and slides it back on. So yeah, the theory right now, the working theory is, was that last week's wristband? Was that the wristband for warm weather and today was cold weather? I don't know the intricacies of what went wrong there, but yeah, obviously something went haywire because he certainly had the wrong wristband on.
It's just it's the little things, because when you're a coach who's predicated off of being the better game planner, the guy who's it's at times proven can't be the guy who adjusts first, but could be a good adjuster. He's going to have you ready to win before you even play the game. How does he make this many errors that are it's just a straight lack of discipline? It's they don't respect him almost in a way.
Yeah, it's a good question, dude. When they hired Stefanski, I was willing to give analytics another try. We had given up on it after 1-31 and when Sashi Brown got fired. But when they hired Kevin Stefanski, I was like, okay, I will give analytics another try. I was desperate. I'm looking for any advantage to get an edge in these games because they clearly can't beat teams on the field with their talent. So if they could beat teams with their mind, I'm thinking that's the way to go about it. Well, now I see stuff like this where these guys graduated with Ivy League degrees. I graduated from Kent State, great institution. I could count to 12. When there are 12 men on the field, you could be able to count that, hey, there's too many. Somebody needs to run off. You're only allowed to have 11 in this sport, not 12. But they just they can't even do that. Then with the wristband. And then that's why things like what happened last week with the decision to go for 2 versus kicking the 1 field goal.
You don't get the benefit of the doubt, Nick. You don't.
All that stuff gets put under a magnifying glass, especially when your record is well below 500 at this point. That's just the reality of the situation.
And another comment in here, it's clear we are getting outcoached every single Sunday. Nick, if you have one over the last 2 years, do you have any memory at all of a day where the Cleveland Browns outcoached their opponent, where Kevin Stefanski square won us a football game?
Not since the
PJ Walker Niners.
Dude, PJ Walker, yeah, the second coach of the year. When he won that second coach of the year award, when he had to bring Flacco off the couch, that was the last time that I felt we really had an edge at coach. And obviously Jim Schwartz gives you a little bit of an edge just because he schemes things up so well defensively, but it has been a minute. I agree with that comment. We are definitely getting outcoached each and every Sunday.
And I don't know, man. It's just he's got to be done, right? Like I've been someone who's defended Kevin like to the fullest for the longest time. Just like when you make these tiny errors, like little after little, even like flipping it defensive side of the ball. Like I think you could argue the last 2 weeks, like this defense has looked well different off of what they looked like for the first part of the season. Like Nick, I know you tuned into a little bit of the John Cena retirement ceremony last night, right?
I watched the clips and I saw how it ended.
Well, so were you familiar with John Cena taking his shoes off and putting them in the ring like he's done to end it? Did you catch
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I saw that clip. Yeah,
Well, like,
I saw the clip.
When DJ Moore catches that ball, if I'm Seven, if I'm Campbell, if I'm Grant Delpit, I untie the sneakers right there, take off the socks, take off the wristbands, and I lay them down in the end zone just like John Cena did last night. It was just bad. I mean, like every single zone, dude. Like I mean, I can't sit here and pretend like I watched the all 22 back and I know when we were in cover 3, when we were in cover 2, whatever. Like every single time they're thrown across the middle of the field, you're seeing like these wide open guys like finding the perfect creases and zones like nobody else even on the camera screen. Like it's just brutal, man. Like I mean, what the hell is Miles Harden doing out there?
I think the defense is really starting to put up the white flag on the season. I think we saw that last week. You know, you let Tony Pollard and the Tennessee Titans rush for a third of his entire season rushing total. And then today against the Chicago Bears, like they're a talented, balanced offense. They are. But to let up 31 points, like, and I get special teams plays a role in that because you're consistently giving them good field position. I don't know. It goes back to what I said at the beginning of this. Like, I'm letting my new head coach pick his own coordinators. Personally, I like Jim Schwartz. I'm not like tripping over myself to make sure that he's back. Like my new head coach needs to be the one that's running this. Like he needs to be picking his coordinators. He needs to be picking his quarterback, all that stuff. And I see we've got some comments flying in here about the QBs.
Yeah, I want to hit you on that. I'm sure we'll get over to head coaching candidates towards the end of the stream, but interesting one here. So even if Cleveland fans don't think Shedeur is the answer as someone who's rooting for Shedeur, I understand wanting to find your guy, but no one is the guy with this roster. Is that a bad take, Nick? Like when you go out there, the right guard was, I believe, an undrafted rookie off the practice squad from LSU. Like, how much can you truly find out about Shadur Sanders when you have a wide receiver 2.5 in Jerry Judy, Isaiah Bond, who had a nice day, not much else, and a decrepit O-line?
Yeah, you know, fair or unfair, this is how he's going to be graded. And fair or unfair, if they're trying to evaluate Shedeur Sanders as a franchise quarterback, you have to be able to overcome some of the deficiencies on your roster. Like that's how they're in this position. Remember, they traded 3 first-round picks and $230 million for Deshaun Watson, and they thought, hey, even if we don't have the best offensive line and the best wide receivers, our franchise quarterback will be able to overcome all of this. Obviously, Deshaun Watson is not the franchise quarterback, and through a couple of starts, I've seen promise from Shedeur. I really have. Like, he is a way better quarterback than Dylan Gabriel. That is not up for debate.
And that's terrible in the first place that he played for 5 weeks right there. That's
right, because that wasted time on this evaluation, and now we do
learn more and more
have
every
questions.
Week.
But I think if you're going to be in a range with a new head coach and potentially a new GM, and you're sitting there with the second pick and the Tennessee Titans draft defense, or the Tennessee Titans draft a receiver with that number 1 overall pick, and you're in the range for Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore, I think you've got to do it, because like you only get to be in that top draft position so many times. At least you should be. It's a familiar position for the Browns.
Yeah.
But at least you should be. And I definitely see the argument that's out there that you should build a foundation first and then draft the quarterback. Because like, say Fernando Mendoza was the quarterback today, right? Here's the thing. Illinois, or Indiana, the Hoosiers, they spent a good bit of dough in NIL money. They've got a pretty good O-line. They got some pretty talented receivers, and they got a nice run game. If you put Fernando Mendoza on the Browns today, I think it looks pretty similar. So that's what I'm saying.
Very similar.
I need a head coach to come in and call his shot and start identifying this stuff.
And that's the thing. It was Lakers 24451 who sent it in, like, to build an offensive foundation for this team. Because that's the thing, Nick, we talked about it on the Big Factor this week. We'll be live tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. talking Browns as well. Like, it's one thing if you're okay, like if you think Shedeur is passable enough to play football next year, not saying he's going to be a Pro Bowler or he's going to lead you to the playoffs. If Shedeur can be competent and go under center for 17 games next year, right? If you go out and build that foundation now, you get the O-lineman, you go get that wide receiver one, like a Tyson or a Tate, whatever. You go find Fano, the Miami kid, whatever you want to do at tackle. You're in a position now where even if Shedeur doesn't work out, you have Sayin, you have Lagway, you have CJ Carr. There's going to be 7 quarterbacks coming out in the 2027 class who might have a better chance than Fernando Mendoza. Like, it's just about laying the foundational pieces, no?
Yeah. It ruffles my feathers so much because, like, if you would have just had 3 first-round picks and a couple $100 million worth of cap space, this isn't an unsolvable situation. It's really not. Like, because then you could have a couple serviceable receivers. You can have a halfway decent offensive line, and that's why I'm not giving Andrew Berry a pass in this either.
You can't.
And, like, guys,
not at all.
I'm so sorry. The one good draft does not make up for having no solution on the offensive line next year. No wide receivers worth mentioning. Jamari Thrash, who is the preseason hero, released, so like I look at this and I'm like, we've got to find a way to build a roster. Being a general manager is a lot more than just restructuring contracts and writing down names on draft cards. You have to have an outward vision for what your football team is going to look like for the short term and the long term. And somewhere the mismanagement of the roster is coming true. Like, park the Deshaun thing for a second. Jerry Judy being your number 1 wide receiver and KT Leviston starting at right tackle for this football team is fireable in and of itself. And we haven't even factored in that they made the worst trade in the history of professional sports.
Can I add a parlay to that leg, or a leg to that parlay as well? Throw in the Elijah Moore trade. Like, there's not a ton of things coming to save him. And the other thing is too, like, Nick, I know you understand this. I'm not saying that everyone doesn't, but there are people out there as well who don't understand that, like, this whole restructuring contracts, it's great. It can help you get cap space short term. It is going to get really, really, really ugly this season when you're already $30 million deep in the hole and you have to fill out a roster. Like, Bubba Ventrone talks about, like, we don't have the guys. Like, because we don't have the starters, there's a trickle-down effect on the special teams. Like, we don't have our guys out there. It ain't going to get any better next year either. Like, it's not an upward path at all.
Dude, like, I look at Andrew Berry's drafts, right?
We're on Winfrey right now, Nick.
Like, so 2024, Mike Hall, player, rotational defensive tackle.
DT 2.5.
But then Zach Zinter, Jamari Thrash, Bookie Watson, Miles Harden, and Jawan Briggs. 2023, Cedric Tillman, Siaki Ika, DeJuan Jones, Isaiah McGuire, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Cam Mitchell, and Luke Whippler. 2022, Martin Emerson and Alex Wright. Both players, we can agree.
Good players, yeah.
David Bell, Perrion Winfrey, Cade York, Jerome Ford, Michael Woods, Isaiah Thomas. That's why you're where you're at right now.
How many players did you name that are like can contribute on opening day next year for the Cleveland Browns?
Alex Wright, Martin Emerson, if they bring him back on a discount.
Yeah.
Whippler, probably you're going to need him to be.
He might be.
He didn't look great.
No, he did not.
Isaiah McGuire, maybe.
Oh, McGuire, yeah. Well, he's extended right now. Didn't he get one as well?
Yeah. No, I don't think he did. He didn't get one yet.
Right? Oh. Well, he could
Tillman, I guess, because you need a receiver, and Mike Hall. So 6 players, maybe, of the last 3 drafts.
That's not a good read at all. No, it is not. A couple more comments here. Real talk. Don't forget, Kevin Stefanski is angry because his guy, Dylan Gabriel, is not playing, which he had declared it was going to be. So like a kid on the playground, you're angry and kick cans, and there we have it. Do you at all, I mean, Nick, obviously Kevin Stefanski's not calling a game intentionally for Shadur Sanders to look worse or anything, but do you think there is any disdain, I guess you could say, in Kevin Stefanski's head about Dylan Gabriel not being the better looking quarterback?
I'm sure he's upset about it, right? Like, because
bit, yeah,
you know, like I love my analogy that I gave on the Factor this week, Jack, where like it's like if you
yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you were having a debate at work, and like if you know Dave is our boss, and it's like if I want you to host your own show, and then we have someone else host their own show, and somebody else has way better numbers than your show, I'm getting fired because I put my neck on the line and said Jack needs to host his own show on this network. So it does look bad on Kevin that Shedeur Sanders has looked better than Dylan Gabriel. Now, here's the thing with this, right? Like Kevin's not even calling the offense anymore. Like I think it's just an overall, like the overall offensive philosophy is just DOA. It's dead on arrival. They had no chance to win this game. The Bears were a way better football team than them. That 7.5-point line was laughable. I'd hate to see what they're getting ready to open up against this week. Like these lines are going to continue to get more and more out of hand because they're proving that now the defense can't even be, you know, watchable. And I do agree with the comment that roll in. Like if you watch the tape back, it certainly does look like some of those defensive players, I don't want to say have given up. I'm not trying to, you know, question guys'
I was going to call it number 9 too.
I don't want to question guys' effort, but like they stunk. They stunk today.
And it's just really hard, especially because like Grant Delpit, like a guy who he's a 2nd-round pick, right? I believe he was pretty early.
2nd-round pick. Yep.
A guy he's been here for a couple years now. He's a veteran. He's supposed to be a leader in the locker room. Like, hey, he's not this time around, but like this time next year, you're talking about is Grant Delpit getting extended or not? Like, I can't see you getting blown out of your own shit by Luther Burden, who's 6'1", maybe tops, on pick plays. Like if you're going to be the guy who's going to like command a safety spot like that, like, I don't know, man. Like, again, yeah, like I couldn't go out on an NFL field and do any better. So I can't really sit here and call out guys' effort, but it's not pretty. And it's not a positive testament to the coaching staff, Nick.
Not right now. Not right now.
So this brings up a good point. So we talk about 95 here in the comments. Nick, how every single time they bring up Myles Garrett, for me in the way it's like a slap in the face almost, like just how well this guy is exceeding at his own individual thing. And I know it's a team sport. Obviously, you got 22 guys starting both ways. It sucks, man, that you have a guy this deep in his prime. And really, Nick, like when you look at like the timeline of what Deshaun Watson was supposed to be in Cleveland, right? Like you're probably gearing for right around now, like 2024, 2025 to be like when you're supposed to hit that like AFC Championship, Super Bowl peak with Deshaun. You got Denzel's 27. Myles is hitting right around his prime as well at 30. He's got the set. Like it was such a blow up, dude. Like it's just ridiculous.
It stinks because like, yeah, this what like when you look at how unbalanced this team is, like the defense does have so much talent. Like they're so ready to go. And like
awesome.
And like you could you could use a free safety maybe, but like and some help in the defensive backfield, but so can every team. It's hard to play DB in the modern NFL. Like so it's just the fact that you have no offense. It makes it even more frustrating. And like I'm appreciating just as a fan of the sport and a fan of sports in general, like that Myles Garrett is literally making history each and every Sunday, but it does stink that it's kind of all for naught. And it is sad that at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, like he could kind of be in that Joe Thomas tier of players for us, just awesome individual talents that have done things on the field that will never be done or never been seen ever again, and kind of just like all for naught because the team isn't very good.
And you made a point there about just like teams always need safety. There's certain positions that teams always can find value in, right? And I'm not trying to call it Ronnie Hickman here. I'm not saying that we should draft this guy even, but I've always been, Nick, personally a huge believer in the not every single time, but if there's a certain guy on the board who I believe in his ilk and like he's going to be that guy, you go out and take him, no matter what his position is, no matter what you have there already. This might sound crazy, but Rob and I talked about it this afternoon. We kind of came to a middling consensus on why not. If Caleb Downs is there at the right spot, like let's say he falls maybe and it's towards the Jaguars pick. I know you need a ton of help at O-line. You need a ton of help at wide receiver. Is there any chance you see like, okay, this kid is like a diamond prospect, we're going for it?
I need to fix this offense, dude. Like
on the offense.
Yeah. Like I need to fix this offense so bad. Maybe, like because Caleb Downs is really good, and the fact that he could probably be a free safety, he could play in the box, like you could really move him around wherever. I just need Like, is he catching touchdowns? Is he blocking? Is he throwing touchdowns? Like, I need to fix this offense, man. Like, I need to get some receivers in here. I need to get some guys that can block. Like Shedeur had no chance. They started KT Leviston at right tackle today. Like,
what was the guy's name from LSU at right guard? Do you even know?
You're just not going to win these games. I have no idea.
No clue. That's always the best thing is like mid Browns game. Like there was I want to say like number 24, maybe Avery was like a backup cornerback. I'd never seen the guy in my life, and he's out there on special teams. But so a couple of comments here too as well, talking about Miles Harden, cornerbacks, O-line. So yeah, this is a good question because I wanted to ask you about this tomorrow actually as well. So O-tackle is a huge need. Obviously, we all know that. Like, I mean, you can't roll out Leviston, Robinson, Corin Lucas, whatever your combination of doom is at tackle. We're going to need guard help too. I mean, Tevin Jenkins out today. Batonio last year was contract. Like Teller last year was contract. He got benched a couple weeks ago. Do you see where we go? Do you see a world where we go high with a guard at all in the draft?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you're going to need help everywhere. For me, like my personal philosophy, like I need a left tackle and I need a wide receiver. Like those are non-negotiables for the first 2 draft picks. What stinks is a new head coach might want a quarterback. Like if the new coach wants Fernando Mendoza, I can't be mad at that. I can't, because if you're going to be drafting that high in somebody's first year as a head coach, I'm going to have to be signed up for it. So then that's pushing everything back a bit. You know, that's pushing a receiver and offensive line back into late 20s. How about a big Jacksonville Jaguars win today? Does nothing for us.
Nope.
So eventually you're going to need a guard in this draft. I don't think that there are many projected in the first round. If it would be, it would be late first round, like where that Jaguars pick would be. So maybe I'm not ruling it out, but my priority would definitely be left tackle and wide receiver before I start looking at the interior. I like to think that you could probably pick up like a Tevin Jenkins type character in free agency and try to plug and play.
So Adam left a comment in here about Shedeur needing receivers. I think it's no secret that throughout Jerry Judy's career, he's had the most success when he's been like lined up at the slot position, right? Like, do you have a preference of a couple of first round receivers? Like Tate and Tyson are more outside guys. Lemon probably leans more inside. Boston's more outside, I think. Lane as well, the other USC kids outside. Is there someone that looks out to you like, okay, like that's the kind of guy I want to go for to put Judy back in the slot?
I think Carnell Tate and Tyson are like the top 2 far and away, and then the drop off from there is significant. And I really like Malachi Lemon. I just think that like I've got so many receivers that are.
You can't have another 5'9" guy.
Bingo. Like I need somebody that could go up and get it. Carnell Tate can go up and get it. Tyson can go up and get it. We see his brother do it every night for the Cavs. Like you bet on that DNA any day of the week. So like those are the 2 guys that I really have my eye on.
So this is an interesting comment as well. Back from Adam again. What's wrong with having Mendoza and Shedeur on your team? QBs get united often. Nick, I want your take on this. At least where my head is at, I'm thinking like Dylan Gabriel, in a way, in my opinion, was screwed from the start. Not off of he was set off to fail, but like anytime you're taking a more highly touted, more known quarterback after him, it was always set up like, okay, Shedeur needs to get in. So that means you're thinking in the first place, Dylan's not going to play the rest of the season once you trade, bench, whatever, Flacco or Pickett. It'd be kind of the same situation. Like you can't draft a quarterback that high and then have that big of a distraction, even if it's not Shedeur's fault behind him, right?
Yeah, you know, I think the thing is like it all depends on who's coaching this thing and who's the GM of this thing, because like I do think like in terms of the 2 rookie quarterbacks that we presently have, yeah, I would keep Shedeur Sanders around the organization if I could and try to put more energy into developing him. However, if a new coach doesn't really want to deal with that and have Fernando Mendoza kind of, if you're drafting a dude in the top 3, he's your starting quarterback, whether it's week 1 or week 6 or week 8 or whatever you want to call it. So like I wouldn't want to create a scenario where the Shedeur Sanders thing becomes uncomfortable. But I definitely think like he's a better prospect at becoming a backup quarterback than Dylan Gabriel is. I'm sorry. I saw nothing out of Dylan Gabriel. I saw no flashes. I at least see flashes with Shedeur Sanders of him proving that he can move the football down the field. I did not see that with Dylan Gabriel. I would try to get Dylan Gabriel out. I think you could probably get a 6th or 7th round pick, keep Shedeur, like personally, I think I'm still at the point where I would try to keep Shedeur for one more year, develop him up with the right head coach, and draft a receiver and an offensive line. Now, if that happens, I'm not sure, because I think a new head coach would want to pick his guys, and that's just something that I'm going to have to put up with. And candidly, I understand it. Like this sample size has been tremendously small, and while he's shown flashes, it has not been consistent at all. Like, he's been really good, but he's also been really bad. So like, you've got to create some sort of consistency if you want an entire 1 year sample size, and he hasn't been that. So if a new coach wants Fernando Mendoza, I will have zero complaints with that whatsoever.
Yeah, and like when I think of backup quarterback, I think of like your Case Keenum spot start, your Nick Mullins spot start, whatever. Like usually in those case scenarios, you already have the pieces around it. Like I've seen enough out of Shedeur where I think he could spot it every once in a while and do his thing. But a couple of comments rolling in about Mendoza. We'll hit on those here in a second. But Nick, before we get too deep into anything, we've talked about head coach a whole lot, not thrown out any other names yet. Is there anyone, I mean, it's too early. There's no vetted sources out of the agencies of who we're trying to interview and stuff. Kevin Stefanski is still employed. That's the first thing to name. One, do you see any foreseeable way in which Kevin Stefanski is here week 1 next year? Two, if there was a name here that's you were out for head coach, who would it be?
It's a good question. I like the Marcus Freeman stuff that's been floated out there. Obviously, it would be pretty fun. I think I can't shake if they want to take the road less traveled, and if they want to do the thing where you can move on from Kevin Stefanski, but you're not getting rid of the whole regime. You're not ousting this entire thing. I think you could promote Tommy Rees as head coach. And for 1 year, I mean, the guy's 33 years old. And for 1 year, you see if he could coach, and you see if Barry could have another good draft. And if he can't coach, and if Barry can't draft, goodbye. They're both gone together, and you usher in an entire new thing in 2027 with a quarterback class that's thought to be much better. I kind of can't shake that Tommy Rees is this hot shot candidate for all of these college jobs. He probably would be for NFL jobs if there were more available, and if teams were allowed to interview him right now. We'll see what happens at the end of the season. I kind of can't shake that. I also think Shula with the Los Angeles Rams, who spent time up here in Northeast Ohio at John Carroll, could be a candidate. Like I think they're going to have their options, and I think this job is more attractive than some might think because you have those 2 first-round draft picks. Even though that Jaguars pick is going to be late, that matters because you could use it as ammo to move up. You could keep them both separate and, fix the offensive line, fix the receivers. If you want to draft a quarterback, you can. Like, a new head coach will have his options. I think this will be a pretty attractive opening.
Yeah, I think Freeman's an interesting one, too, to talk to about for a quick second. Like, he's a guy who went to school in Ohio, which obviously, like, you're going to endear people immediately. Whenever you hear the John Gruden name come up for the head coaching search, right? For whether people are being facetious, whether they believe it's the best idea in the world. Okay, Ohio guy, but was around Dayton, whatever. And if you're going to keep Tommy Rees around, that seems like the big thing, Nick, we've talked about it 100 times this week, is the Browns want to keep Tommy Rees around no matter what. If it's not in an elevated role, the head coach, do you know a better guy to keep him around than Marcus Freeman, a guy who he's been an OC for?
Yeah, that's a good point. No, not really. Like, and I think they had a pretty good working relationship, prior to Tommy leaving to go be the OC up at Bama. Like, yeah, I think they had a pretty good relationship there. So I think it would make sense. And I think Freeman has kind of that attitude that Browns fans are looking for, that he's more so a leader of men. He's more so a CEO of an organization where lean on Tommy Rees to be the head coach of the offense, lean on Jim Schwartz or whoever the new defensive coordinator might be. And then you just clean up all these sloppy penalties. You make sure that the game plan is sound. You handle in-game decisions, challenges. Like, when's the last time Kevin's won a challenge, dude? Like, it's been a minute. So, like,
what are you doing on the 1 yard line if you're not going to get it in the first quarter? Like, what are you doing?
I don't get that, dude. Like, yeah, like, so what? The ball goes to the 20. It'd be 3 and out anyway, like, and you burn a timeout.
So much about it too, Nick, is like, I go on Twitter after it. Like, I'm not that I want to get on Kevin. I like Kevin, but like, I want to see what the discourse is after a play like that. And all you see is like, oh, well, it's the guy who they have who looks at all the plays, right? And he's going to be the guy who tells us to challenge or not. Like, oh, you can't blame special teams on Kevin. Like, that's Bubba's guys. Like, but Bubba's in charge of them. Nick, maybe I'm an idiot. I could be. I mean, shit, maybe I am. Can you please tell me who employs all these people and who keeps their jobs and who doesn't fire them? Do you know who it is?
Usually the head coach.
Usually it tends to be the head coach. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Me neither.
I don't have much else for you. Do you got anything for the post-game show?
No, here we sit, at 3-11. You got 3 more games to go. It stinks, dude, because I'll say, we look forward to Browns football all summer long. Like, people are packed out at Berea for training camp practices. The draft is always such a big thing. The schedule release, we ache and long for Browns football. And I found myself today, I cheered as the clock hit 0:00. And I thought to myself, yes, we have 12 quarters of this to go, and I'm done. For several months, I could be done with this team. I hate this iteration of Browns football. I can't wait to get away from this iteration of Browns football. I can't believe that nobody took accountability for chasing Baker Mayfield out of town, for bringing in Deshaun Watson with all of his baggage, for underestimating the 11-game suspension that he was going to get. They thought it was going to be like a 2 to 4 game suspension and that he was going to come in and hit the ground running. 11 games. Nobody took accountability for that. The 4-man quarterback competition this year was always a garbage joke that they passed off to us as something better than what it was. You have Kenny Pickett today for the Raiders, got shut out. He put up awesome. 0 yards, 0 touchdowns, and all the
plan?
All the internal leaks said that was your week 1 starter had he not hurt his hamstring. Joe Flacco got traded to Cincinnati. This entire year was an absolute dumpster fire. So for the Shedeur people that joined us and signed up to be a Browns fan for this year, I'm sorry, because this is what it is. It sucks. It's miserable. They make you hate everything. They make you question your sanity at times. I look forward to watching this team play football games every single week for months on end throughout the draft and free agency and the schedule game. And then we get to the season, and here I sit, and I'm glad that there are only 12 quarters of this mess left to go. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to us on Big Play, on all the YouTube channels or whatever, because we'll have an entire week of shows and all that. And we will get into much more Browns talk, because that's what we have to do here is talk about this football team that gives us literally no choice but to talk about them. Not because they're successful, not because they're competing for AFC championship games or Super Bowls, but because they are the biggest clown show in the National Football League. I'm Nick Padone. He is Jack O'Rourke. I appreciate him holding down the fort, and we will do this again.
Can I get one last thing here, Nick?
Probably after another Browns loss. Go for it.
Everyone go do a jugs machine tonight for Jerry Judy, because someone has to in this downtown, and it's not going to be him.
It's not going to be him. He's blocking out the noise. We'll see you guys later. Appreciate everybody tuning in.